See, the most important thing in sales is one rule: don't lie. Like, the moment you start to lie and betray yourself is a moment it starts to get real fuzzy on what's the truth and what are things that you've just said in order to get the deal done at the time. Because there's going to be, even if you don't pay the price for a no now, sometimes you got to pay the price to learn that lesson. You will have to pay a price for it if you weren't truthful or if you overpromised in the beginning. Eventually that cost is going to come get you, right? Karma keeps score, in my opinion. Hello and welcome. This is Brian Delaney with Unlock Potential, where we get together with top experts in their field who have simple, profound advice to help you and I live better lives, to be able to be more fit to serve the people around us and answer that question, the question that nags within all of us: how good can I be and how great can I make it for people around me? As somebody's getting started, that's typically the first thing they want to know about is, what do I say when? What do I say when they say this? If they have an objection, because what they don't want to do is they don't want to get close to failure, right? It's very hard to draw a straight line in most people's mind between a temporary failure and success that's down the road. So it's being able to equip somebody with what are the minimum effective doses of things that you can say in order so that the client responds the correct way. And when we want a client response, are we looking for them to buy or for them to realize something that's true? Because if the goal is to get them to buy, right, there are so many roads that are away from success. There are so many roads that are away from success. But if we want them to have a perspective that's going to be beneficial to the buy, that's going to be something else. So any objection that you want to handle, first realize that people have questions and concerns. When they're treated like objects, though, they have objections. When you treat somebody like they're in between you and the commission you want to make, the money you want to make, whatever it is, the vision you have for your future, what you're probably going to do is stop talking to them like a person and start talking to them like a purchase that needs to happen as soon as possible. And therefore, they're going to have objections. Otherwise, people have questions, they have concerns. They say, I don't want to buy something I don't need or can't afford. I want to make sure that this person is at least looking out for my best interest in part of their relationship with me. So for any salesperson, learning how to reassure people is number one. Learning how to provide reassurance and clarity in that reassurance. So when people start saying, well, I can't afford that, instead of convincing them that they can, saying, hey, what would need to be true in order for you to be able to afford something like this? Is it even important enough for you to be able to afford something like this? Is you getting that outcome something that is important? Because I'm not the first person to say it, won't be the last person to say it, but where there's a lack of value, you're going to have a hard time finding money. Anytime somebody is in a position where they're like, well, I can't afford that, look at all the things that they are affording, and that's where you're going to find value for them. And maybe you need to demonstrate that this has some value to them by getting clear on what the problem is that they're willing to pay money to solve. So get on the other side of reassurance. Somebody says, I'm not interested in that right now. What were you interested in at the time? Right? Return that question with a question. Getting them to think in the moment rather than for them to go down a prepared script that has gotten them to exactly where they are in their life. Let's say somebody wants a new car, but they haven't found a way to afford it, and you have strategies for somebody to be able to afford a car. You may be able to have a longer terms on your payments, whatever it is. Ask them questions to clarify what the barriers have been before, and you come with the bridges. You show them how, hey, listen, I understand that was an issue before. I understand that this is a problem that has prevented you before. But if I could show you some solutions to that problem, would you be willing to make a change? And when they say yes, you're in, right? If they say, well, it depends on the price, it's so important for you to say, same thing for me. The other way we can provide reassurance to people is being able to relate directly to them. And for me in my sales career, and I teach so many other people how to do this, somebody taught me this, it's to say, hey, if you were in a situation where you were selling something to my family, here's what I would ask you to do. And mean it. And mean it. See, the most important thing in sales is one rule: don't lie. Like, the moment you start to lie and betray yourself is a moment it starts to get real fuzzy on what's the truth and what are things that you've just said in order to get the deal done at the time. Because there's going to be, even if you don't pay the price for a no now, sometimes you got to pay the price to learn that lesson. You will have to pay a price for it if you weren't truthful or if you overpromised in the beginning. Eventually that cost is going to come get you, right? Karma keeps score, in my opinion. Like, eventually you're going to have to pay the cost. If I can pay the cost for what I'm doing right now, then the price will never be too high. But if I defer that cost by doing something dishonest, doing something shady, there's going to be a time where that price is too high for me to be able to pay it in any single moment. And so deal with the situation as it is now. Get curious, ask questions, demonstrate that you're doing for them what you would want them to do for you or for your family, and allow them to know that being your client is a really favorite thing, because you only say what you're going to do, and you know you get paid for the value you add, and that's it. Thank you all for joining our conversations. We're developing this platform for simple, profound tools and techniques that can help you get the best out of your life and, more importantly, unlock potential. You can find me across all social platforms at The Brian Delaney, and online, come visit us at thebriandelaney.com.